You know that feeling when it seems like your life is flowing along a predictable path. Ordinary family, routine like office home TV shows, rare hangouts at the pub with buddies or trips to the furniture store to debate whether you need another rug for the atmosphere. It's precisely in those periods that fate loves to throw something completely unexpected, like a punch to the gut. My name is Alex, I'm 34, and recently I discovered that my wife opened an account on OnlyFans. And if it were something harmless, like I'm uploading hand photos because a fan with special preferences sent me 40 euros. No. Sophia, my wife, the mom of our home and a fan of family card games, announced to me with a stone face. This is for creativity, you're not in the know. Let's step back a bit so you can grasp the full absurdity of the situation. Sophia and I have been dating for 7 years, married for 5. Nothing extraordinary. We got close at work. I had just started at a software firm. She worked in graphics. At first, we chatted about who stole the last croissant from the office, then moved on to dates. All standard. Sophia has always been a creative type. She painted with gouache, photographed everything around, especially the neighbors' dogs, of which there are plenty in our neighborhood, and sometimes posted her creations on Instagram. She had about 4,000 followers there. Decent, but not influencer star level. Now imagine my reaction when, on one dreary Thursday, I come home from work and find her at the computer. Cheeks flushed, eyes sparkling, as if she'd invented a new way to mine gold. Alex, she says, I found a site where they respect real art. You can realize ideas there. People donate to encourage talents. Like Kickstarter? I ask, peeking into the fridge in hopes of a bottle of wine and yesterday's salad. She theatrically slams the lid shut, looks at me like a teacher at a student who asked why algebra is needed. It's OnlyFans. Here I burst out laughing, thought she was joking. After all, we have friends who mock memes about ladies in 2025 paying off loans by selling palm photos. I even snorted and replied, okay, go ahead, just don't forget the tag, strictly for aesthetics. And then she dropped that phrase. This is for creativity, you're not in the know. Honestly, for a moment my brain froze. How can you say that while starting OnlyFans? It's like saying, yes, I borrowed a bike, but it was performance art. I cautiously tried to probe for details. Okay, and what kind of creativity are we promoting there? She sighed and headed to her studio, that is, the room with canvases, tubes, and packages from online stores. She came back with a camera and showed a series of shots. Here I froze because it was hard to describe. There she was, in lingerie, in poses more from glosses than galleries. But she was holding pencils in her fingers, posing at an easel with the inscription, Experiment 4. See, she looked at me like at a layman. This isn't about passion. This is about form, independence, female essence, about studying how the audience perceives beauty. I stayed silent for 30 seconds, then said, well, that's definitely studying, especially if your cousin Carl accidentally subscribes. She rolled her eyes. And that's when the main fun began. At first I thought, okay, let her play around. Maybe no one will bite. But a week later, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a notification on her gadget. New follower. Then another. And then I heard her chuckle and say, wow, someone tipped 80 euros. 80 euros for what? For a photo with a palette in hand. I was torn apart. On one hand, I trust my wife. On the other, what the hell? I know what OnlyFans is. I live in 2025 too, not in the boonies. In the end, I sat down and started scouring the net. OnlyFans creative content, OnlyFans without intimacy, OnlyFans for artists. Friends, it's empty there. I mean, formally it exists, but it's like TikTok without dances. Theoretically possible, but no one buys it. And then I wondered, what next? Will she announce she's starting a creative act in the nude? That she needs a model partnership with some guy nicknamed Victor 88? And meanwhile, she keeps saying, you're not in the know. And here I am on the forum trying to figure it out. Am I behind the times, or has the whole world gone mad? I still couldn't believe my ears when Sophia told me about her new venture. This is for creativity. You're not in the know." And she smirked as if she'd found a door to a parallel world, and in her version, I'm too grounded to handle it. Creativity on OnlyFans. A question mark hung in my head, and she was already heading to the computer, showing the first shots from the camera that she supposedly made for the muse. Time passed, and I started noticing unusual things. Sophia laughed more often, but also disappeared for hours, locking herself in the room. I tried not to fixate, thinking it's inspiration, and yeah, maybe I'm just a jealous fool. But in my mind, it spun. Why is she hiding what she's doing? My buddies at the cafe immediately started teasing. "Hey, old man, is your wife now some kind of net star?" Thomas winked, and I blushing replied, it's aesthetics like design experiments." They laughed, but I knew they guessed right. And then one night, I'm alone in the apartment again. She dashed off to a rendezvous with clients, as she put it. Curiosity won. I approached her computer. My pulse pounded like crazy if she finds out. I couldn't even imagine the outcome, but secrets beckon. At first, I just wanted to glance at the main page, purely inspect, without touching files. But the screen showed. Sophia is creating more than I imagined. High-quality photos, clips, even miniature visual experiments, all like a separate universe. And the longer I looked, the harder it was to breathe. Every frame was crafted with care, lighting, angles, emotions. I, of course, justified myself. This is real aesthetics. This is a visual project. But my soul ached. I felt like I was losing Sophia somewhere among bytes and effects. In the morning, I gathered courage and talked to her, tried to stay calm. "Sophia, yesterday I peeked into your experiment." She stared at me as if I'd confessed to theft. "You peeked?" Her eyes flashed a mix of surprise and annoyance. I explained it's for creativity. I tried to explain, yes, I know it's aesthetics, but I didn't expect it to be. So, open, she chuckled gently but with a firm note. Open, any inspiration is open, Alex. Viewers know the artist through their works. I wanted to argue, shout, but the words stuck. And then it hit me. In this scenario, there's an aspect beyond my control. Sophia is no longer just my wife. She's a creator in a reality where I'm an outsider. The days after were a cocktail of curiosity and hidden anxiety. I saw that Sophia gets messages from followers, some too intimate, others eccentric, and some just sweet. I tried not to delve, honestly tried, but with every notification blink, I caught myself checking the sender. Peeking again, Sophia asked one evening when I casually glanced over her shoulder. "Just looking," I muttered, feeling heat in my cheeks. "Looking sure?" She burst out laughing. "Alex, trust me, I still adore you. This is just a facet of me." But the inner anxiety didn't retreat. With every signal, my heart raced. I tried to figure out what exactly hooks me, jealousy or fear of losing her. One evening, I stumbled upon a post in a community for photo artists, seeking participants for avant-garde visual experience, adults only, with approval from loved ones. My heart sank. There was a frame I recognized as hers, and she's involved in this. I couldn't hold back and called her. "Sophia," I came across that post. The words stuck when she burst out laughing. "Alex, that's part of the visual experience," she tried to calm me. "It's a test. People shape images, experiment with form. It's not about passion. It's about emotions and optical effect." I understood it rationally, but emotions raged. Emotions and optical effect. I repeated mentally, feeling jealousy and confusion weave into a funny knot of turmoil. Sophia developed skills, framing, lights, editing, alliances with artists. Sometimes I overheard conversations with other creators, bizarre but fascinating discussions about balance and tone. It felt like I'd entered a realm where my position is observer, not participant. One night I was woken by a notification sound on her device. Curiosity one. I saw a message. "Sophia, your works are amazing. You motivate me." I gripped the gadget and thought, motivate me or scare me? With each new frame, each video, I experienced something strange. A cocktail of admiration, excitement, and light, humorous chaos. Sophia became a star in her corner, and I kept trying to find my niche. A couple of weeks later, she invited me behind the scenes of a shoot. I expected a romantic outing, but it was a workspace. Lights, lenses, assistants. I stood there like a guest in another country, trying not to get in the way. Alex, become part of the aesthetics, she said, winking. Look at reality through a creator's eyes. I smirked, but inside it boiled. Aesthetics. I tried to absorb it, but it clashed with my reality, where jealousy, confusion, and fear of parting with my beloved still ruled. Over dinner that evening, I said, Sophia, I want to understand. Let's discuss boundaries. She squeezed my hand, smirked. Boundaries are a myth, Alex. Creativity is independence. But remember, I'll always return to you. I exhaled. Independence, aesthetics, OnlyFans. I still didn't grasp the nuances, but I clearly understood. My routine had changed forever. And who knows, maybe for the better. Several weeks had passed since I first dove into Sophia's OnlyFans collection. My daily life resembled a movie. In one hand, jealousy; in the other, curiosity, and my pulse drumming like in fast forward. One evening we dined at her acquaintances, artistic folks, painters, operators. I quickly realized I'm an outsider. Everyone chattered about exposures, frames, tone, and only I sat with a face like I'm in the know, seriously, though in my head it spun. This all looks like a glamorous exhibition, and I'm just pretending to be mature here. Then she introduced me. This is Alex, my husband. He's for everything I do. For, I nodded as if it were true, but inside I nearly collapsed from the bizarre blend of admiration and confusion. That same evening, I caught a message on Sophia's gadget from a follower. You're amazing. When's new material? I felt a rush of heat to my face. Sophia noticed my grimace and burst out laughing. Alex, these are just fans. Don't take it seriously. But things weren't smooth. The next week, Sophia got an offer for a joint project with a famous operator from Berlin. She was going there for 7 days. I tried to hide my emotions, but inside it boiled. Her world was drifting further from mine. I took a step and suggested, maybe I'll come with you. Just as a helper, I want to see the process. She looked with a smile full of warmth and light irony. Alex, this is your chance to grasp what aesthetics is. Yes, come, but only if you can handle it calmly. The trip turned out phantasmagoric. Studio lights, lenses, other participants and artists. I stood like a wanderer, marveling at how Sophia confidently rules this element. She seemed transformed, liberated, radiant, elusive. One evening, she asked me to assist with lights for a session. I, of course, agreed, but all the time I thought, this is a purely personal visual project. And then the incident. One participant bumped the tripod, the light flickered, and Sophia bent down to adjust the angle. I suddenly realized that jealousy isn't just an emotion, it's a whirlwind hard to tame. After the session, I asked, Sophia, have you ever thought that people might distort your aesthetics? Alex, it's not about them, she replied evenly. It's about me, about my vision, about independence. I tried to understand. Reason said, she's artistic, this is her realm, but my soul whispered, she's slipping away. Upon return, I saw new reviews under her releases. Fans argued, criticized, praised, and one noted, you're a true inspirer, Sophia, your husband is lucky. I experienced strange peace and at the same time light annoyance. That day, Thomas called via video. Bro, I saw your wife on OnlyFans, he said, barely holding back laughter. She's like a megastar. I know, I grumbled, feeling heat in my cheeks. Listen, you're holding up like a champ, he added. But admit it, you're terrified. I stayed silent. Yes, terrified, but even stronger, I saw how Sophia blossomed. And this conflict began to shape a new bond between us. I'm no longer just a husband, I'm a spectator, ally, assistant, sometimes jealous, all at once. And here's the climax. One evening, as I sat with the device, Sophia approached with a smirk. Alex, I think you're ready to see what I crafted for the final experience of the month. I nodded. She activated the screen and I saw a video, a full immersion into her reality. Aesthetics, emotions, courage, light intrigue, but without vulgarity. I realized she's not betraying me, she's just unfolding. I stammered, but the words stuck. Are you in the know? She asked. I exhaled and smirked. Yes, now I'm in the know. And in that moment I understood. Being with Sophia means accepting her independence, her inspiration, and her reality. And despite jealousy and fear, I felt I love her even stronger. I still couldn't believe my eyes when the evening before I noticed notifications on the gadget. My quiet evening with a book turned into complete chaos. Sophia launched OnlyFans. Yes, exactly, this is for creativity, as she put it, and that I'm not in the know. For me, it echoed like, I'll earn from strangers by showing myself and you'll have to endure it. I tried to set the device aside, but interest overpowered. On the screen, reviews and signals flashed, numbers multiplying like an avalanche, thousands of likes and messages from fans, some innocent, "You're stunning," "Beauty without equal," and others. Well, let's say they made me grimace awkwardly. When's the exclusive show? Sophia, you're a true mistress. I gripped the gadget like a shield and experienced a bizarre mix of irritation, jealousy, and strange interest. On one hand, I respected her decision. On the other, I felt like I was losing control over what used to be ours. In the morning, I decided to observe her activity. Not literally activity, but at least track fans' responses. I settled in the kitchen with a cup of tea and secretly scrolled her profile, and that's when the real show unfolded. First, fans' reviews caught my eye. They dissected everything from her smirk to the shade of the scarf in the frame. I had no idea someone could analyze facial expressions so detailedly. But Sophia responded to each message with light wit, sometimes sarcasm, sometimes warm care, as if engaging in an intellectual duel with the audience. Every step calculated, every grimace a tactic. I tried to grasp why this annoys me, probably jealousy. But then I thought, stop, she's thrilled, she's shining, and yes, she's creating for aesthetics. Aesthetics. I'd heard this word a million times, but now it gained reality. She wasn't just exposing herself, she was manipulating image, perception, crowd attention. It was dramatic, funny, and slightly provocative, all in one vessel. Meanwhile, I started noticing small strokes of her routine through OnlyFans. Sophia uploaded clips where she brewed coffee in a tiny apron, did silly pirouettes with the dog, recited humorous excerpts from books we both appreciate. Fans reacted to every nonsense. I, sitting with my cup, began involuntarily chuckling. Well, I thought, maybe this really is aesthetics. And then the drama, one follower offered to gift her an expensive gadget. Sophia smirked and replied, "Thanks, but I'm for humor and likes." And for the first time, I experienced strange relief. This doesn't concern me, doesn't threaten our alliance. This is a performance, stage aesthetics. But my mind still sought reasons for jealousy, and every new fan response made me jump between anger and laughter. The following days became a real test. I watched as Sophia turned each release into a mini performance, sharp, ironic, and incredibly captivating. She masterfully balanced between authenticity and flirting with the crowd. Sometimes I caught myself thinking, I want to join this, and sometimes, why am I even hanging around here? In the third week, I realized, fans see Sophia in her and I see Sophia and know her true self. And this realization became pivotal. I understood that I can be jealous, angry, mock myself, but the essence remains. This is her joy. I even started participating in her mini performances. She laughed when I tossed her funny fan reviews, and sometimes we co-created short skits that she posted. But the climax happened suddenly. Sophia started a stream with fans where she held lectures on humor and kitchen. I sat nearby with the device and thought, okay, let's see. On air, she twirled fried eggs, wittily parried fans' questions, and then one wrote, "Does your partner really see how cool you cook?" Sophia glanced at me and chuckled. "He's here and laughing. Sometimes he gets mad, sometimes he shines." And I genuinely smirked, for the first time in a long while without jealousy. I saw her thrill, her flirt, her gift, and I grasped that this doesn't destroy our union but revives it. We started joking together, inventing material, comically arguing on camera and laughing afterward. By the end of the month, I realized that Sophia's OnlyFans became not just her arena, but our miniature stage where we're both in roles. She created further, and I laughed and encouraged her. It was a bizarre, unexpected turn, but incredibly attractive. And the main thing, I grasped that jealousy can become humorous if you make it a joke, not a drama. Since then, I no longer scoured her profile secretly. I watched as she creates, sometimes suggesting ideas, sometimes laughing, sometimes marveling at her boldness. And every time a review could rile me up, I just chuckled. Yes, she's true aesthetics, and I'm glad to be her observer and participant in this performance.